Yeah, it was. I was like, I don't know if it was my phone or it was your phone.
I was on a computer, so that's probably what it was. Me trying to use a computer to go live and stuff probably don't work. I'm old. I'm old. I'm old.
No, we don't not get old but clothes. So my girl used to say.
I
All
love that.
right, we're gonna go ahead and get started, Coach. I want to be prompt and be on time. What's up, basketball film? Is Coach Sadie's, and we are here with Coach Miles with Locker Room Talk today, and we are talking about you're not overlooked, you're just underdeveloped. Coach, can you give us just a little bit about yourself and your coaching journey?
Man, how y'all doing? I'm Coach Miles, man. I'm going into my 10th year here at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. I've had several stops, man. I started at West Virginia University as a player, did my grad assistant there as well. After that, I went off to Pueblo, which was a D2. Got my foot in the door there. And then since then, I've been taking off from the Division One level, Northwestern State University, Central Michigan, Denver, and now I'm here at UMES, like a full circle, working under the coach that coached me. So at the university, you know what I'm saying? So I love that.
That's dope, Coach. That's dope. Because nobody don't really understand the coaching journey. So, but you just stick with it and continue to grind. That's a real those big accomplishments that a lot of people don't really understand. You know, Coach, give us one fun fact about yourself. Everybody knows that you as Coach Miles, but what is one fun fact that you like to do with outside of basketball?
One fun fact about me is I like bowling. I don't know if a lot of people know that about me. I like to go bowling. I think it's therapeutic. I sew, you know what I'm saying? That's something I picked up during COVID, during the pandemic. I picked up sewing. So I do a lot of that during my spare time, Sewing is something I'm getting back to since I moved. But yeah, those are things that's therapeutic about me. I like to bowl and I like to sew.
That's dope, man. That's dope. That's the first. I haven't heard, anybody say that, that they like to, sew. So do you sew like your own clothing? Do you just kind of repair?
I do a lot. I could taper my own clothes, you know what I'm saying? But I can make like t-shirts and shorts and stuff like that. So yeah, I can sew clothes, I can put things together, but I do a lot of tapering, hemming, you know what I'm saying? Different things like that to things that
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, okay. All right, so Coach, we're gonna get a little bit into our topic. We go through this journey, and at high school level, we look at a lot of kids that are trying to get to the college level, right? And a lot of kids say, "Man, Coach, like, why are these coaches not looking at me? Why I'm not hearing nothing?" And a lot of times, I tell them like it's about need, what you need, and sometimes it's just that you're not developed to the point where going to college, you're gonna be a good fit or you're gonna be efficient for them, right? So our first question today is, with our title of the episode, what does that mean to you? What does that statement underdeveloped mean to you?
Um that you're missing something. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's already the topic was very perfect for me. You know what I'm saying? The topic sounds harsh, but it's really not. You know what I'm saying? It's very true. A lot of kids, like you saying, do be like, nobody's recruiting me, nobody's recruiting me. And honestly, you gotta be missing something if you're not being recruited. Because as college coaches, we everywhere. We out on the weekends, we watching film, we at high schools. We doing all of the work to see you if you're worth being seen. You get what I'm saying? So it could be little things that you missing, um, but it's everything that you can control when it comes to developing. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
you can't control your height. You can't control the school you at. You can't control your ranking, but you can control your game and developing that. So if you're overlooked as something that you're missing in your game, you know what I'm saying? That you
Mhm.
can still develop. You know what I'm saying? So I just think a kid is missing something. And sometimes they think it's just about scoring when it's not. You know what I'm saying? You can be missing something else, a tangible, decision making, communication, body language. It's a lot of other things that you can be missing that's not your God given talent. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Reasons to why you're not being recruited, honestly. That's how I heard, that's how I received what your topic was today.
No, absolutely. I think that, like, just my experience of watching people go through, like training and those different things. I think sometimes we focus on the wrong things. Like, I watch trainers all the time. We go in and they don't tell kids why they're doing certain drills. And that they don't understand that develops the IQ.
Yep.
Because now when they're in the game, they understand the reads. What they see, what they don't need to see.
Yep.
What passes, what to pass, what not to pass.
Yep.
Game situationals.
Yep.
That's big. I think a lot of high school coaches miss that in high school sports. It's like we're practicing, but we're not doing situationals to teach the kids how to act and how to respond under pressure. You know.
Absolutely.
So let me follow up with a question. So say you got a 3-4 guard scoring, doing the right things, getting up and down the floor, tacking the basket, getting up shots. If you was to say, you have that kid that could jump out of the gym, what is something that would turn you away from that kid, in a way of this kid is talented, and is but it's just something not there. What is that something that a 3-4 guard going into college need to have?
Um, that would turn me away first, or what she need to have?
Let's say both. Let's say
Okay.
both.
First, being uncoachable is gonna turn me away, and that's just how you respond to the coach. You know what I'm saying? If you getting some direction within that game to do something, how you respond to that can turn me away. Your parents. I really focus on when I'm out evaluating kids and something happens in that situation. Who did this kid look to first? Are you looking into the crowd to see what mom and dad is going to say, respond to you? Or are you going to look to the coach, you know what I'm saying, and get the dialogue within the coach? Because then that lets me know what type of player I'm going to get. You know what I'm saying? Are you going to respond to me, or are you going to call mom and dad after the game and let them coach you up? You know what I'm saying? So that is something that'll definitely turn me off. How you speak to your teammates to turn me off. Now, I like a competitor. Don't get me wrong. I like a dog, you know what I'm saying, that's going to be out there talking a little trash now. That might bite somebody during the game. I like that. But how you treat your teammates, you know what I'm saying, how you treat people, I'm watching that. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching all of that beyond the athletic ability, beyond you scoring, beyond you being able to pass. Because honestly, it's more and more people that can do that, you know?
Hmm.
But it's hard to find a really good fit into your program as a person too, beyond a player. Um, is what um I would say turn me off. Is what I look for when you turning me off. And then the second part of your question, run it back again.
What would they need to? I think what would they need to do to be able to, get to fit into that system?
For me, what you would need to do to fit into our system, of course, I'm looking for a person that's gonna be vocal. You know what I'm saying? I know you can score. Of course, I know you can score. Me teaching you the system we play in, that's not gonna be hard. So your offensive skills is good. But a lot of kids I look for, I'm a defensive minded coach. So I'm looking for the little things on defense too. Are you talking? Are you in help? Are you open into the post? You know what I'm saying? Are you trailing on them shooters that when you guard the shooter? Like different things like that. Your ball pressure, are you getting back? Are you opening up? Like I look for little details on defense, you know what I'm saying, to show me if you can play at the top of my press. Or, you know what I'm saying, or if you can scramble out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for that defensively as well when I'm out there, you know what I'm saying, evaluating. Because I feel like finding an offensive piece, you can shoot a deep three. Okay, I know you come with that. You can get downhill. You can finish left and right. You know what I'm saying? I can see you come with that. And then for the little point guards, of course, I'm looking at your vision, your IQ, your directing. Are you being a general out there telling your team where to go? Those type of things like that is what I'm looking for, honestly, on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely, coach. I can't tell you how many times that like I've even like talked to coaches, sent film out, and sometimes they'll give me a response of like, hey, this kid needs to work on this, and this to be able to be on our level, and sometimes they don't give a response at all. And a lot of times, what I tell the kids that I train, I coach, is that it's not so if we don't get a response, that's not a good thing.
Right.
That means that they're not interested. That means that there's something that you're missing, and a lot of times kids get discouraged by that, and they'll start like declining instead of trying to find ways to what they need to work on and say, okay, how do I be more coachable, how do I do this, to get that. So you're absolutely right. How you respond is big.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because again, when all fails, mom and dad is not on the sideline coaching. They're not in the film room trying to break down film, and they're not on the phone calling, trying to get you into school. That, like, their coaches are gonna call us first.
Yeah.
The high school coaches and the trainers and the AAU coaches, and trying to figure out, hey, what kind of kid do you have?
Yeah.
What am I getting?
Absolutely. I think this generation as a whole, they gotta shift their mindset. You know what I'm saying? I think these kids are so used to getting everything that they want, and they gotta be okay with wanting to work for something that they want. So if a coach is telling you, or the feedback is, you need to work on this, you need to work on that, instead of having a mindset, I'm not good enough, you got to shift it to a motivation thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's empowering. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use that to motivate me. Oh, I'm missing that, you think I don't have that, I'm gonna show you that I do. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? Instead of just, they get so deflated, like these kids get so deflated when you tell them something they don't want to hear about their game. Instead of shifting that mindset, you know what I'm saying? And be like, all right, you think I'm missing that? I got you. I'm about to be in the
Mm-hmm.
gym every day working on that to show you that I can add it to my bag. Because, like I said,
Absolutely.
development is easy, man. Adding something to what you're missing is easy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Compared to just things that you can't control. That's uncontrollable to me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Absolutely.
I think the mindset just got to shift with this whole generation, this whole era, and they got to be okay with the work. You may have to work a little harder than her. She just may have it, God given. You know what I'm saying? She was born with it, and you got to be okay with that. But she got that. But can't nobody, your work ethic and your heart, you know what I'm saying? Can't nobody take that from you.
Mm-hmm.
Can't nobody give you that or take that. That's something that's yours, and you get to decide what you're gonna do with it.
Absolutely. And it's crazy that you say that, because I tell the story all the time. And I used to be, kind of like, oh, I don't want people to know that I was a blue collar worker to get my scholarship. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I tell my kids this story, they laugh at me. But I told my, I got recruited because a girl knocked my tooth out, and I still played,
Mm-hmm.
even in pain, because you don't feel the adrenaline at that moment.
Facts.
You try to play, and it was a
Yep.
big game. And the college coach was there to recruit somebody else. And I ended up getting, a partial scholarship, but it
Mm-hmm.
took me as far as where I am now, because I
Yep.
just worked hard, and then I did the extra work. I'm walking into this gym with all these, stars, and they're dropping buckets. They're strong. I'm this
Mm-hmm.
scrawny 150-pound kid coming in here.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, I found a person, a senior, that I said, hey, listen, I want to get better. And, every day we were in the gym doing extra work with the GA, and eventually, like, those coaches, they see that. They see your work ethic, and you end up taking somebody else's spot, even though they're talented, because you become more coachable, because of the blue collar worker, that you are. Which brings me to my next question, coach. If a player wants to earn a scholarship, right? And they're training, they're doing the things they need to do. What is something that they need to be working on every single day to continue to improve their game? Not just shooting. What is something that colleges look for you to be in their training?
Okay. For me, like you said, the things that people think that we're looking for is just like the deep threes, the fancy handles, and them crazy finishes. Nah. For me, when it comes to getting a scholarship, I'm looking at shooting at game speed. You know what I'm saying? If you out there hooping at game speed, um handling the pressure. You know what I'm saying? Handling ball pressure is one of the things that stand out to me. Being able to, and something basic, just finishing with both hands. You know what I'm saying? It sounds crazy, but it's a lot of kids that want to be on the left side and finish with their right hand. So just looking for kids that can finish with both hands, footwork. You already know defensive habits. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for them different defensive habits. Conditioning. If you're conditioned, I'm looking for that.
Mm-hmm.
And kids that actually study the game. That's one of my questions I always ask on the phone. Do you watch film? And that's whether you watching yourself or you just watching basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's studying the game to me too. Even if you're watching as a fan, you learning the game unknowingly. You get what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So just watching is a big piece and a big part of the questions I ask when it comes to recruiting too. Because I'm just curious, and if you're not, I encourage you to. You know, encourage you to watch the game a little more. Because then when you get to college and we using these terms you ain't never heard of and different things like that, talking about this type of coverage and that type of coverage. You've heard it because they use this terminology in the WNBA, in
Mm-hmm.
college. Like you hear it. You hear these different terminologies and you're learning them by just watching as a fan. So that's one of my big things. I think that's a huge tool that people don't take advantage of.
No facts. Now, Coach, last week we kind of talked about film breakdown. When you talk about film breakdown, I know you mentioned it, about just the different terms. Can you kind of elaborate on the plus and minuses? Because a lot of kids don't really understand that what's a plus. Because a kid would think like, hey, my plus is I scored 15 points, right? You talk about the intangibles and the small things that we don't see. Can you elaborate when you're watching film? What are the plus and minuses in a film session?
Um, so plus and minuses in a film session for me when I'm watching with a player is teaching them. This is a plus, because a lot of kids don't know, and I hope I'm answering this correctly for you. And a lot of kids, when they watching film, especially on themselves, they're just watching themselves. That's a minus to me. You get what I'm saying? I need you to watch everybody and what everyone else is doing so you know what to do yourself. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? And then with my point guards, because I work with the point guards, of course. So with my point guards, it's just teaching them when it comes to film, um, learning personnel as far as their teammates, where people like it, where they like their shots, where they like the ball, what side of the court they like to shoot on, different things like that, what type of pass they like. Some of our post players like bounce passes, but some of them like them up high. You know what I'm saying? But that's something you need to know about your teammate, and knowing these things and going into film is how we break it down, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like knowing is these are all positives because I think a negative is just watching the wrong. For me, negatives is watching everything you did not just right. You get what I'm trying to say? Like everything you did
Mm-hmm.
right. That's a negative to me. We not getting nothing out of it because you'd be like, well, coach, I did this and this is what I was supposed to do. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
did that, but what is she doing? You get what I'm saying? So you just watching you. You get what I'm saying? So you being right is not right because she's still wrong, and everything we do is collective. Does that make
That
sense?
No,
You
that
know
makes
what I'm saying?
sense.
Everything we
Yeah.
doing is collective. So I do think that's a minus. Because I'm just talking about film watching. We're not talking about actual plus and minus on the stat sheet because that's completely
Mm-hmm.
different. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a minus when kids are just focusing on themselves and what they're doing right or what they're doing wrong. Overall,
Mm-hmm.
film sessions and breakdowns is about the whole team because I'm teaching you how to play as one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You talking to me as an individual. I'm
Facts.
going to talk to you as the five people that's on the team, because it's gonna take us all. So that's
Fact.
kind of what the film breakdown is for me teaching these kids. And something funny that you said that is we did something called a basketball class during our summer session. So this summer session, of course, we had our 8-hour workouts or whatever, 4 hours on the court, 4 hours in the weight room. But we also implemented on an off day a classroom session of teaching basketball. So our associate head
Wow.
coach, yeah, Adria Cropper, this was her idea. She did strictly offense, breaking the game down with the offense, and it was really good because we had 8 new people. So teaching them our offensive outline, you know what I'm saying, and terminologies in the classroom, gradually transitioning them onto the court, you know what I'm saying, is putting them ahead of things we won't have to teach them when we get them back. You know what I'm saying, for
Right.
going into the fall semester and everything like that. We did
Right.
events and everything. So I just feel like having that classroom session, if people ain't doing that already, it's a great thing to implement. Just sitting down and actually teaching your team basketball. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Positioning, everything, just what this cut is called. You know what I'm saying? What this action is called. What these things are called, and teaching them these terms, and it'll help you have a smooth transition, I feel like.
Right. And that's big, coach, because the one thing that, I've noticed, with some kids too is that when timeouts come, they have to understand to learn how to, learn on the go. right? Because you got a situational, you're sitting out in front of the, the kids, and you're like, hey, I need you to lock in,
Yep.
and sometimes they'll be like, well, coach, well, what is number three doing? Hey, I need you to focus on what you're
Yes.
doing, because especially when you're looking at what three is doing, and you're my PG. I need you to be, I need you to direct. I need you to make sure you get the ball to the right person, and we talk a lot about, decoys, right? Sometimes we set up decoy screens, and you don't never know. Sometimes that decoy screen is open, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes we don't pass it to the decoy screen because we want action on the other side,
Yep.
right? So a lot of times that, like, when we're teaching, I've learned that a lot of kids don't understand how to read the board in a timeout.
Yep.
So we've learned, like, some of my coaches, and we talked about trying to just implementing, teaching that. So it's really crazy that you say that, have that basketball class, because I want my kids to be able to go to college and they already know that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel
Yep.
like you guys appreciate that, because you don't have to keep teaching, and that also is a big part of being, underdeveloped, being over,
Mm-hmm.
when you're thinking you're overlooked, because you go to a college and the coach is like, what is this, and they be like, well, my coach never taught me that. So it's like things you should learn in high school. They don't, they don't, translate, and then they get to they get to college, and they be like, what did you do? Like, what did
Yes.
y'all do in practice?
Yes, because this is basic things we're talking about. And I agree with you completely, coach. Like some of these things, these kids should already know basketball wise, because it's the very
Hmm.
basics of basketball. Like what help side is. You know what I'm saying? What a gap is. What two passes away is. You know what I'm saying? Just thinking defensively right now. But those are things in film breakdown we have to teach. We have to show. What is ball pressure? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? What do we mean when we say force them to a side and keep them there? You get what I'm
Right.
saying? You gotta show them. You gotta show them in film. Then you have to show them on the court. Then you need to draw it on the board. Like you have to teach them in all of these different ways to get them to learn. You know what I'm saying? And a
Right.
lot of these are visual, and I agree completely. That's what we lacking. We're lacking the teaching part at the high school level. Like we want to teach them all this cool stuff that's not translating when they don't even know the basics of basketball. You know what I'm saying? You want to come
Facts.
here and do a Euro step, low pickup, high pickup, and all of that, but you don't think you can get to your man on a skip pass. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know the timing on that. You don't know where to go. You don't know when to go. You can't have your head on a swivel. It's like just the very basics of basketball that we're missing at the high school level that we're not teaching, because we just want to skip over all of the basics just to get these kids a scholarship, but they need that part as
No,
well.
facts. But that's so, it's just true. Like, I watch some of these games at high school, and, like, some of the times I'm like, oh, well, I'm gonna watch it. I want to go watch this coach, practice. And when I first started coaching high school basketball, like, I would go sit in somebody's practice and say, let me see how they run it, because they had so many years of success.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, you had so many years of success, but you've been running the same drills for the last 10 years, right? Basketball changes every day, and then you get different coaches with different systems, and they want you to know different things. But the biggest thing that I tell people is, like, when kids come to me, like yesterday, we worked on help and recover,
Mm-hmm.
or releasing on a trap, just understanding how to help in a scramble situation. Who's going to play the gap? Who's going to do this? And if your teammate is not there in time, grab them by the jersey and move them there. Just being
Yes.
hold them accountable. And then, when you guys circle up on free throw, then you tell that player to get their butt there.
Mm-hmm.
Just being a leader, and that's one of the things that I try to instill in the kids that I do talk to, that I do train, and I do coach, because, again, I've seen it. And then coming, like, I coach overseas, I can't tell you how many times I've had an overseas kid, and they be like, I'm like, oh, we're gonna do this and this, and I'm like, can you say that again, coach? I'll be like, what college you went to? And it's like, there are certain things that, like, man, we never did that. I never was taught
Mm-hmm.
that. I was expected to just come in and go. So it's like, you're athletic, but you can't think. You're
Yeah.
athletic, but you can't, do a simple defensive move, where, like you said, you love the defense. So it's like, hey, I'm trying to press. So if you can't think on the fly and know when to steal the ball, when not to steal the ball, when to contain, how to play a shooter. That is
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I see kids lack the most. Like knowing your opponent. Who is in front of you? Are they a slasher? Are
Mm-hmm.
they a shooter? Do they like to pass more? Just reading them in the first two possessions of when you're guarding them to see what they do. And I think that's a big part of just the development,
Yep, you
you
got
know?
to teach them tendencies. You know what I'm saying? You got to teach these kids how to study tendencies of other players, which they don't know. Which
Hmm.
comes with the film. If you just watching basketball, man, you will pick up on different habits immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
When guarding somebody. But also like it's so much opportunity to teach that in high school. I don't know what these high schools are doing. Do y'all do scouts? Do you do game preps? Like what are you doing to prep for these games, or do y'all just show up and play? But
Hmm.
I know AAU take it to a whole nother level. So if these kids is playing AAU spending all of this money that they're spending, some of this money gotta go into teaching them the game. You know what I'm saying? Whether y'all getting scouting services, because y'all can afford it. These AAU teams can about those and start building scouts for these players. And start teaching them at the AAU level how to read scouts. You know what I'm saying? And how to prep for games, giving them game plans that they should have defensive scheming and all of that already. Like I shouldn't have to tell you we gonna trap, so you gotta make sure you force her to go off this screen so we can trap. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are not things. I mean, of course we teach it because we have to. But by the time you get to the college level, I don't care what level, JUCO, NIA, NAIA, you know what I'm saying? D2, D3, D1. I don't care what level it is. You have to have some type of basketball IQ, knowledge, and understanding of it,
Hmm.
besides just being able to score. Because it's only going to take you so far. You know what I'm
That
saying?
coach.
Because when you get shut down, what you going to do next? Now you one dimensional because you can't do nothing else outside of score. I'm just saying,
That's
basketball, a real
that.
simple game, a real simple game. And you mentioned the drills earlier. Man, I didn't been to so many. I'm going into my 10th year. I didn't been to so many clinics and basketball camps for coaches. Whether it's the Final Four, whether it's the ones I'm signing up and just investing in my own professional development. And when I tell you, it's at least one drill that I've seen at every clinic. You want to know which drill it is?
What is it, coach?
Defensive drill. Shell.
Oh,
Shell. Do you know how many years people have been doing shell defense?
years. Even when I was in high school, and I'm in my 30s.
Same. I'm almost 40, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But people are still doing shell defense, you know what I'm saying? And then these shooting drills, rainbow shooting. But my thing is, this is stuff we've been doing since we was little, and it's still being implemented. The game is very simple. I feel like we overcomplicate the game by trying to do all of this extra stuff within it. You get what I'm saying? Like we
Hmm.
got all of these successful people, South Carolina, if we just talk Aces, the Warriors, the Spurs, like just all of these successful programs with OGs as coaches that I know have been doing things the same way since they started. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to the basic, of course, get creative with your drills. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, you ain't got to do nothing off the wall. Like, I feel like people are doing things off the wall, trying to be so creative with drills when it's just real simple, coach. Close out.
That.
Don't go
Oh,
middle. Don't let them go middle.
move your feet when the ball in the air.
Move your feet when the ball's in the air. You know what I'm saying? Beat them to where they going. You dictate it. Like, everybody's saying the same things. You know what I'm saying? It's just getting the right people to do it at the end of the day.
No, for sure, coach. Now, just going through all of that, like, what is something that that parents misunderstood about the recruitment process, of their kid being, underdeveloped, or just, them feeling like their kid is being overlooked? What is something that you feel like the parents missing that?
Something I feel that the parents is missing in that. I just think the parents is not accepting that their kid is missing something. It's not about them being overlooked. It's like what we said initially, parents. You paying for all of these trainers and all of this other stuff, instead of just having them do things. And if the parent is that invested, you should be watching your kids game as well. And if you follow basketball, you can see what they missing. You know, maybe
Mm-hmm.
they handles ain't tight. You know, maybe they can't keep somebody in front of them. I think the parents, if they want to be involved to that extent, watch these games, understand the game, see what your kid is missing, and make sure this trainer you paying all this money for is implementing what the kid is missing. See, the
That
kid can be missing a left hand, but we in the gym working on all right. You know what I'm saying? So what are we really doing? I just think we need to be in a gym with a purpose, um, which can eliminate this overlooked and underdeveloped conversation. And
absolutely.
I think the parents need to be motivated too. Use it as, to empower your kid. Well, they said you're missing this. You know what I'm saying? I guess we just need to work harder on this that you're missing. You need to develop a three ball. If you need to develop a three ball, why you in here shooting left hand layups? Like let's get rep it out. Rep it out. Rep it out. I don't have to do nothing different but rep it out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what we getting away from is the reps. Let's just rep this out. Whatever we
Mm-hmm.
gotta work on, let's rep it out. I ain't gotta put you in no spin cycle. You ain't gotta spin between, behind, boom, boom. Get downhill and make the layup.
This simple layup. Oh, I know my point guard watching this right now because I get on to her all the time. All the time. I mean, like, you get a wide open layup and, we playing, you probably, in pickup or whatever. And I'll be like, girl, make a regular layup. She like, my bad, coach. And she's super fast. Like, gets on the court super fast. And it's just, in her mindset, she's like, I'm in the air for a long time, coach, what I'm supposed to do. So, that's kind of one of the things that we've talked about. And she's like improved so much from the times that I've had to break that bad habit. Now, I told her sometimes you can be a little fancy, every now and then, but not every layup. You know what I
Fancy with a
mean?
purpose though. You know what I'm saying?
She just
Like
commented. It's so hard being.
I used to be fast too. Trust me, I used to be so fast that I couldn't stop and I just banked the ball off the backboard. You know what I'm saying? Until I had to control my speed. And I don't mind the fanciness as long as it's with a purpose. Like I don't
Mhm.
like you being fancy with no purpose. Like you making four different moves to go nowhere. You know what I'm
Fact.
saying? Bop bop. Now get them. Now go. You know what I'm saying? Like once you got them and that defense then shifted, now go. Don't go
Absolutely.
and come back and play with them some more is what I'm saying. And that's what I see a lot of. Like you got her beat. Like it was cold. The first counter you hit was really good. Now go. Don't bring it back because you want to play some more. I just want to show you what else I got. You know what I'm saying? Now you didn't
Hmm.
get down. You didn't done all that work and missed the layup.
Now we're on baseline running because you don't miss the layup.
Now I'm mad. You in
Oh,
big
no.
and now I'm mad.
Like, no, don't talk to me.
That's 2 points.
Oh,
Just 2 points. Like I don't care about all of the fancy stuff. Just put the ball in the basket and then stop the ball from going in the basket. That's I'm real
absolutely.
simple.
Absolutely. Now, coach, we're gonna go into Q&A now because I like to let let the listeners be able to ask some questions as well. So I got a couple questions here. One question says, "Is highlights an important part for a senior athlete?"
I mean, highlights is nice. I look at a highlight, but I also like any other coach. I want to see a full game. I don't want to see all the good stuff you do, because I mean, just like anybody, we ain't expecting everybody to be perfect. We're expecting some development. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
the full game allows us to see where we can, you know what I'm saying, add to that bag. You know what I'm saying? Where can we add to your bag with what you're already bringing? You know what I'm saying? But the highlights nice. I enjoy watching highlights because it gives me an idea of what I can expect in those good moments. You know what I'm saying? But I
Hmm.
also would like a full game so I can know how to build you up, so I can know what we
Absolutely.
need to work on as well.
Facts.
Full games don't hurt you. I feel like a lot of people feel like a full game can hurt them, showing some of the things they need to work on a little more. No, they don't want to hurt you. If a school is really interested in you and already seeing your highlights and all that good stuff, they just want to see the full game to help you.
Right. Facts, coach. Okay. So our next question is actually she said, "How can I control my speed, especially being a shooting guard going to a point guard?"
how you control your speed, something I worked on, is doing everything explosive. You know what I'm saying? Every time you in a gym, in a workout, at practice, doing everything explosive. And then when you're getting down there, you're able to control that momentum. Does that make sense? But if
Mhm.
you're not going as fast as you're going in games and practice, you're going to throw the ball off the backboard. Cause that's what I used to do. I used to chill and practice, you know what I'm saying? Cause I was good. You know, I used to chill and practice. And then in the games, now I want to go hard, but I wasn't practicing at this pace. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
now I'm moving at a pace that I can't control because I'm not used to working at this pace. So you get used to working at that pace, you control that pace.
Fast. Okay. All right, coach. Now we're gonna go into something I like to call rapid fire. Okay.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. We're going into rapid fire. Okay. So
All
what
right.
you're gonna do? I'm gonna give you two options. You're gonna tell me what's most important. All
Okay.
right. Effort or talent?
Effort.
Film or stats?
Oh, you going that fast? Okay, which one?
Yeah.
Effort. Okay, okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. Film or stats?
Film,
Defense or offense?
defense,
What's your favorite drill for player development?
one on one or as a team.
As a team.
Uh, advantage and disadvantage drills. You know me. I like a good uh
You like some
disadvantage.
you
Yeah.
like that competition.
Uh-huh.
Biggest biggest recruiting myth.
Biggest recruiting myth. Coaches only recruit 5-star players.
Okay. And now we're gonna go Asia or Aaliyah Boston.
Coach, find something safe to do. Asia Wilson, stop playing.
And what is one word every athlete should live by?
Consistency.
Facts. That
Mm-hmm.
is it for our rapid fire. Now, listen, everybody. I know we didn't get to everybody's Q&A today. I will go in if coaches. If coaches are open to it, we can do about 5 more minutes of some questions because it look like some good questions in there.
Yeah, I got you. What you got?
All right. What's your biggest recruiting priority?
Coachability. That's my biggest recruiting priority. If you got to be coachable. If I see a
Mhm.
coach pull you over and talking to you, I want to see how you respond. I'm looking for the response. So coachability for sure.
Okay. The next question is for international players from Australia. What are the biggest things college coaches look for, and how can we get on your radar? She's class of 2029.
The biggest thing, I mean, international, stateside, it's no difference. You know, I just think it's exposure. You know, I don't know. You know, it's a couple Australian AAU teams. I just think it's about the exposure, and then you still have college coaches that come over into Australia as well and recruit from different clinics and different things that are being held overseas. You know, different tournaments and things like that. So it just comes down to exposure. That's it.
Mhm. All right. All right. We want to thank you guys for your Q&A. If you have any more questions, you can either inbox me and I'll pass it along, or you guys go and follow Coach Miles and the University of Maryland and Eastern Shore. Make sure you guys are following them. Season is less than 100 days away. We're ready to get back into it. See some college ball, see some high school ball. So make sure you guys are following them. Make sure you guys follow at Coach Sadie's, and you can go to the YouTube page to run this video back. It'll be up tonight. So make sure you guys, go like, subscribe, and again, keep following us. See the different things. We're gonna post some clips. So thank you guys, but most of all, thank you, Coach Miles, for taking time out of your day to just share some information and just give us, some insight of what your mind is like when you're coaching and what you guys expect at the college level, because a lot of times kids don't be able, it's not always able to get these questions answered, and our platform is built to just get that out there, to be able to allow these coaches to, I'm not coaches, but allow the athletes to be able to ask the questions, and we want to be who we didn't have as a kid. I didn't have the opportunity to ask these questions and do the things that I'm doing now. So I want to give the kids somebody to go to and something to look forward to as they continue to go. So, Coach, thank you.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, Coach Sadie. Thank you for creating this platform. I think it's a beautiful thing that you're doing. I can't wait to see where it's going. You know what I'm saying? You've already had some amazing panelists on here. I've learned a lot from following you already. And I'm excited to see what you do with this platform, man. Keep it growing, keep it going.
I appreciate it, Coach. I'm definitely gonna try to get into University of Maryland,
Come on.
see a game or two. Try to stay a weekend. I definitely want to get out there. So, but again, I want to say thank you. And I'll share the link with you so that you can share it to your family and friends as well.
Absolutely. Thank you
All
very
right, Coach. Thank you.